I'll just walk you through what we're doing and just how we have different specs. So really what we're looking at with the devices today, and I'm going to talk specifically about the topaz, we're really focusing on the building blocks for HP really to be a leader in this market space, or if not the leader in the market space. So what we've done, so this is we have a 9.7-inch display on the device. You have it? Yeah. So it's a 9.7-inch display. You have a dual CPU, 1.2 gigahertz processors in it.
Right.
It has either a 16 or 32 gigabyte version or the RAM on it. You have a full array of sensors. You have a gyroscope. You've got an accelerometer. You have a compass.
Right.
We also have gone through and have Beats audio built into it. So you have stereo speakers coming out the bottom, or the orientation you're in.
Yep.
And we'll have Beats on it. And for connectivity, just the speed of both on the device with processors, but over the air, we're going to have BG and N for Wi-Fi, and we'll also have a 3G and 4G variant coming out later this summer.
Okay, and this is an active unit right now? Or
yeah, this is a Wi-Fi version of the unit.
Okay.
So really what we are focused on with webOS, we built the operating system really to be web connected on a variety of devices when we came out with the original pre 2 years ago now. So going through it, we focused on what we wanted to do with TouchPad that made it different. So really, you notice the card view, and this is your workspace. You can see all your cards you have open on it, and they can flip around. If I want to change the order of them, I just tap on it. I can move it over into the next slot, drop it. So I can move my workspace any way I really want to, really trying to customize your space. And I sort of liken it to having papers on a table. Some things are more important than others. I'll put them in my urgent pile. Other ones I can just I'll get back to them later. And I tend to use a lot with email so that I have drafts of email open. I get interrupted during it. I'll come back later in the day and finish my drafts. So it really lets you work at your own pace.
So on the free devices, there's a touch-sensitive gesture area underneath the screen. Is there one on this also, or no?
We're not showing anything for touch. We have touch on the screen. We don't have a capacitive region around the outsides. So as you're going through it, some of the things we have, as you're going through the browser, the focus we have, one of the things we did with TouchPad is we actually used the graphics processor to accelerate the browser itself.
Okay.
So using, whether it's an HTML5 or whether it's Flash, really having hardware acceleration. For Flash videos, all you do if you see something, you just tap on it and it'll start playing the video in place on the device.
Right.
So anything you're seeing web content, you can just play it.
What can you tell us about this screen? It almost looks like it's painted on.
No, this is
like it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's really we were looking for a high quality screen when we were putting in place. Really can't get into the manufacture of it, but yeah, definitely wanted a very, very gorgeous display on the product. One of the other things we did, in addition to working in the browser and for webOS to make it faster on this device and using the processors, is we have a concept in webOS called notifications. We changed it on TouchPad because we had the real estate and did something called stack notifications. And what that allows me to do is I can go through my accounts one at a time, so Google, Exchange, or SMS, and basically triage my messages as I'm in something like a web browser. I don't have to leave my app. I see what's coming in. If I see there's something important, I just tap on it. It'll actually launch my email application, bring me to where I want to be and what it was, so I can read it and react to the emails. And definitely make it much easier to use. And then we went through an email because we've got more real estate. We were going through it basically a single pane because of the size of the screens on the devices.
Right.
When we go through on TouchPad, it allows me I can have a view where I see everything. So I have all my email accounts, all the subfolders on them. I have any message I have in the email account, and then I can scroll through the message on the side. If you just want to see the message, we can actually tap on it. I can expand everything just to see the one email.
Right.
I can tap back to get to my list, and then tap back again to go through and see all the messages.
Can we see the keyboard real quick, just to...
Yeah. So I was going through the keyboard, and I'll just reply to the message I had opened.
Right.
Keyboard, we really focused on, for the keyboard, how you'd actually type. So as you're doing messages, we see the letters and numbers very important as you're typing emails. So we made it so we've got the number bar on top. If you want to change how the email or the size of the keyboard is, I can go to an extra small so I can actually go through and see more things on it.
Right.
I can hold it again and go back to my large size. And really it's a person's basic preference for what they're doing.
Cool. It's just keyboard size, huh?
Yes, just keyboard size. So we can change keyboard size. If you want to go through and see the alternate characters, you just tap on this button. But really we made them more fun. So we have emoticons in there, we have some other characters for calculations. But really the focus we wanted on, so you can do names, numbers, email addresses, websites, very easily for us.
So if you change to the small keyboard, say, will that come up as the small keyboard every time you use it then?
It keeps your preference on it. Okay. So the other piece we had, I'm just going back, again, you've got your stacked messages. this is honestly the multitasking how we're doing it is key because as I'm doing messages, I tend to have ones that I'm not answering all the time or I get interrupted.
Right.
So I keep them in one pile and come back to it later in the day to get everything done.
Neat. And do those get automatically stacked, or can you put them in stack?
So yeah, you can actually you put them back in the section you want. You just hold it, you bring it back on top of the message you want. You can stack it under, or you can stack it over,
Okay.
around.
Got it.
But it's your control of how the workspace looks.
Sure.
So really looking at is how you're setting up, and really from a productivity point of view, we really want it to be fun as well. So I mean, when we went through it. Got my Kindle up? There you go. Went through it, I had a Kindle into it, so you can go through and have Kindle and have 800,000 Amazon titles. We work with Barnes & Noble for other applications, so we really want to open this up to anybody that has these type of products and hook into their systems. We're really wanting to bring content down here, not as controlling of it, but really want to enable it on your device. We also went through, and I think, show the Armageddon, so you can also do 3D games. So, got it, so switch it over this way. So this actually goes through instant demo mode because I crashed when I was playing. I've not figured this out yet. I'm very good at hitting the water. But as you're playing it, it allows you to go through, and really the key of webOS is as you're going through, it'll stop everything in place. I can start it back up again, it'll keep going. But it's really, that's a key thing that I don't have to stop something and go out of the game, pause it, come back into it. Everything's locked in place. I can go back over, I can go to a web browser, I can bring it back up again. But really letting me move around my device however I want to do it.
Cool.
And again, as you're going through, if you want to throw something away, the easy way, you just find an application and you just click it off the screen like that.
Cool.
We also spent a lot of time, and we had a concept called Synergy we came out, which allows you to take all your email accounts, all your messaging accounts, calendar contacts, and bring them to the device. We extended that with photos. So what we're doing on TouchPad is you can see on here, I've got the little icons here. I've got pictures on my device. I've got pictures up on my Facebook account. I can scroll through them side to side if I want to see something. I can tap on them if I want to make it larger and then continue my slideshow. Really wanting to take this display and allow you to share pictures, really make it a vivid display, great to use. We also let you, which is sort of the key things we're doing with it, it is Facebook. So I want to put comments on it. You can go through and say, basically just as you start typing on here. I'm on my small keyboard. I usually use the big one. But you just go through, type the comment on it, put it in place. And also you go through, and you saw on it, we're HP. So one of the things we wanted to do is take all the printer base we have right now. So we have the ability to go through, I'll just select the printer I have underneath me, and just hit print. So we actually can hook into any of the HP printers that we shipped in the last 5 years. It just has to be up on a network or has to be one of our web-enabled printers. And there's tens of millions of them right now that we're using. So we're looking at this, as we bring this to the market, it's going to work with everybody. Oh, that's what I printed earlier. So I was doing the Qualibear when I did last time. But it allows you to go through just on the printer. We just set these up this morning, so it was definitely really easy to go through. And these are sort of the key things we're doing and how you're sharing.
So you're putting a webOS on the printers also, right?
We have talked
this year or next year?
So we have talked that we were looking at that in the future. Definitely, you could see if you look in the printer interface, it's something that we can leverage.
Can you just show the Just Type real quick? The fact that you can send like.
Yeah. So if you're going through on Just Type, and we're going through the same thing on here, I can actually go through. Let's see.
You can send social networking messages from here, right?
Yeah, you can if you have the Google app installed, or sorry, the Twitter app installed. If you have a Facebook app installed, we can actually post your status.
Right.
And it really allows you to go through, start memos, make any events. You have the search using area on here. It uses something called OpenSearch. So if you go to ESPN, if you go to allrecipes.com, any site that uses something called OpenSearch, we'll ask you whether you want to add it in here. So you can customize your search option based on how your browser preferences are. Great. The other thing that we really looked at really is how these devices work together. It's really a core part of what we were doing. So with it, what we wanted to do is if I come home, I'll usually take my phone, drop it on a nightstand, drop it with my keys, and go on I said it before, I usually will be watching hockey. That's my primary thing of what I watch.
Right.
And I'll have ESPN on going through and looking at stats. Well, when I'm in the browser, the phone rings because I get SMS. All I do, the same thing, it's paired with Bluetooth, and he just sent me another one. Basically, it's paired with Bluetooth, so I tap on the notification, I can bring the SMS up. It allows me to go through and I can actually just tap on it.
So it's synced up with this phone right now?
So it's a Bluetooth connection with this phone, but I can actually respond to the SMS here. I'll talk to him later. It'll actually go through, send the SMS back to the phone, and send it off to the thing. So it's a great thing that I don't have to get up and move. The same thing with a voice call.
Okay.
Although voice calls usually when I'm sitting in a meeting and I get a voice call, I get to see who it is on my touchpad and I ignore them.
So supersized caller ID?
Yeah, basically. And it's up to your contacts. You see the person coming in, you know who it is, you know to call them back later.
Sure.
It just will push them off voicemail. Or if I'm home, I can actually answer it through the speakerphone or through the headset jack, and it allows me to take the call and just use the system on it.
Awesome.
So not to replace your phone, but to make it so you don't have to worry about it. It's sort of simple. You want to do it wherever you are, what context you're in.
And again, all that's happening through Bluetooth?
Yeah, the SMS and the voice are through Bluetooth. And the other thing we did through Bluetooth, which was interesting, is that I'm at home, and actually I'm going to get into this tomorrow because I'm flying out to Barcelona for the Mobile World Congress. So I'm missing Valentine's Day again. My wife likes this. I've been doing this 5 years straight. So one of the things we go through, just tap and get my recipes. One of the things we use the device for is you can go through on this, and I can go through myrecipes.com, find a recipe that I think is interesting on it. So if I go through and I'll say, I'm not sure I make panini for them for dinner, but we'll go through, find a nice recipe. It's going to have everything I need. If I want to go back to school, I don't. Let's go through. I like getting click-throughs. I'll go from this screen. So basically, if you go through, it allows you to, we have something called Touch to Share. You just tap on it, it'll actually give you that little wave. And on the device itself, it'll come up, load the page on it, so I'll have the menu, I'll have all the ingredients I need. I can go to the store with my phone, which is what I want to carry around there. And everything just comes in place on this.
Now, is that Wi-Fi?
No, this is actually using, we have a touchstone technology we use to go back and forth. And it actually, because I've got the profiles connected, and it allows me to go from device to device in a secure fashion.
So it's the same hardware you're using to docking, correct?
Yeah, it's the same technology we're using. So Touchstone was a technology design that actually allows you to do inductive charging and also data transfer. So this is extending the Touchstone from where we came out for just charging. And in fact, this is the charging dock. What we go through when we're using TouchPad. So
It's inductive charging, also transferring data.
Yes.
Wirelessly.
Yes, and this will actually allow you to go through. You can actually have it in horizontal or portrait orientation. It'll charge on this, which is also a great way if you're using our exhibition mode, play photos or what have you. It's a great. I don't want to use TouchPad for just a picture frame. Yes. Oh no, actually, the phone doesn't charge in this charger.
So can I pass documents back and forth the same way? Like I've got a Word document on one, I want to get it on my...
So right now we're focusing to talk about today just going through web pages. It definitely is a technology we're using for a lot of different things, as well as the other cloud services we're developing that we're pushing forward. Because you have a lot of... I tend to use things like Dropbox today for where it is, because I can access on both devices. But we definitely are extending the Touchstone technology as we move forward, and those are great examples of things we're looking to do with it.
So is it really designed for small bits of data, like links, or is it designed for big bits of data, like documents?
And actually, it's designed. We can do either. It's either small or large. If you get really large, it depends really how. That's part of the thing we're looking for performance. Is it better to go over Wi-Fi because most of Wi-Fi enabled? So we're working on a lot of those things to see how best to transfer the content, or do you just keep it up in the cloud and grab it? Both devices grab equally well, depending on what protocol they want.
Would you mind holding it up real quick?
So one follow-up question to this. What is the bandwidth of the Touchstone transfer?
The amperage?
The bandwidth, how fast is the transfer?
In terms of I'm not sure what the transfer is. I'm sorry, we're not talking about that right now. I usually get the charging question. It's the same as plugging into a USB as you're going through the The inductive doesn't have any latency compared to going through.
I was thinking about that too. Files can transfer easily.
Actually, or that one. Got my not pretty unit, so
That's great. Thanks.
okay.
Can I take one at the back?
Actually, let's grab. I've got my pretty unit, which I was going through.